Okay, here's a brief addendum to my previous video. If you recall, I was making my normal maps have control to adjust the intensity of the normal map. And if you recall, in the middle of the video, I decided that I really didn't like how I set that up initially and removed it. But I was still thinking of the problem, and I decided that there was a solution and that it was still pretty straightforward. Easy to set up. It is a little bit more complicated, but I don't think if you're using it for in a specific case, I don't think it would be that big of a deal. So as you can see here, the amount of nodes that are in the normal map has increased significantly, but it's not it's not really any more complicated than the power setup. It's basically doing the math of what you would expect the power setup to be doing. So if you recall, this was my main normal map coming in from the whole base object, and this was the normal map coming in from my hexagon tiles. And then from each one, maybe moving this down to make it a little bit easier to see, I did another mask from this, from this mask, basically separating into individual red and green channels, so that I could multiply it by a single vector constant. And this has been turned into a parameter already. But it's set to 1, so when it multiplies back in, currently it's not actually modifying the intensity of the normal map. And then I just append them back into each other. This lerp is just the mask for the windows, and I noticed after I did the video that the hexagon normal map was still peeking through the windows for some reason, which you don't really want with the mask. I'm not exactly sure why I was doing it. Like the other mask issue, for some reason it didn't seem to be applied quite 100%, and I'll have to figure out why that is. But that's what this intense negative number is really just to force it into being black as black as black. And then I just ran it through a clamp, so I didn't have any HDR values actually being applied when it comes back together. So as you can see, the min and max is set to 0 and 1, which is the default value, so I didn't need to run anything into the min and max for any special cases. Then I just add the two back together, and then append the blue back in. So if you look at the normal map, it still looks normal. Unlike the power, we don't have our red and greens blending into yellow. I'm still not 100% sure why it was doing that. It could just be the way it was set up. It may have needed to be masked into individual channels for it to work correctly. But instead of using the power node, I'm just basically doing the multiplies with the constant. At least that way I know for sure what's going on. So if let's do this with a hexagon normal map. As you can see, it is labeled, so you can see what it is, and set it to 10. It may be hard to notice, at least from the normal view, but you can see it is a lot more intense than it previously was. You see these lines are a lot thinner when I reset it back to default. So we're going to apply that and see this work in real time. Materials updating. Bring my material instance because that's still set up, and these are the values here. Base normal mount and hex normal mount. If I move this slider, as you can see, the normal maps are actually changing in intensity. I can crank it really far, and the normals are kind of messed up at that point. But you would never want to do it that far unless you had a really specific reason for it. Here the normals are actually inverted, so it looks like the hexagon tiles are recessed into the hull. You move back. Now they're 10 times normal. We'll just set it back to 1. And they are the original state. It works same with the other one. You can see the height of the windows changing. The extra shading I added in here with the normal changes, and you can see the grit of the occlusion map inside the rest of the texture. I'll probably end up smoothing that out because I don't really want the grit in there, but that was just noise resulted from the occlusion map calculation. Sometimes it's good to leave that stuff in there, but in terms of a normal map, I don't think it is. Diffuse map, it's fine. Adds a little bit of fine texture to the surface, a little bit of randomness, but I don't like it in the normal map. Like I said, I was going to keep that short, and I have. Hopefully that works out for some people. Thanks for watching.